I want to also thank my beautiful wife, Melania, First Lady.
Melania Trump, great to see you.
Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
I guess the first thing is congratulations.
She never wanted to be First Lady. She refuses to sleep in the same room as him. And now, she just made history with one of the biggest defamation lawsuit wins ever. Melania Trump has always been a mystery, but this time, she's stepping into the spotlight in a way no one expected. A jaw-dropping $900 million lawsuit against The View just sent shockwaves through the media, and the fallout could change everything. But was this really just about defamation, or is there something bigger at play?
And you need to defend yourself all the time. As you may heard, I file a few lawsuits, and I'm in the court now because they accuse me of doing stuff that I never did in my life, and they wrote lies, and I will not allow that. I will fight till the end because I don't want that they damage my reputation and my name.
It all started with a seemingly casual discussion on The View, but what was said that day would set off a legal firestorm. During a heated segment, the hosts made bold claims about Melania Trump, accusations that, according to her legal team, weren't just false, but intentionally damaging. The remarks spread like wildfire across social media, fueling speculation and controversy. But was this just another case of media gossip gone too far, or was there a deeper agenda behind the comments?
I think she hates it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, so we can all agree on that. That's a given. I also think that she wants to take him out. She does not want to be the first lady anymore.
They agree.
Yeah. She doesn't want to be the first lady. She destroyed the Rose Garden. Who hates Christmas? Melania Trump hates Christmas. She doesn't want to decorate for Christmas. She doesn't want to have anything to do with him. She doesn't want to sleep in the same room with him. She can't tolerate him.
Allegedly.
And she doesn't.
Yeah, how do you know all this?
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know all this.
Allegedly. That's why I say allegedly.
For years, Melania Trump had largely stayed silent, letting rumors and criticisms roll off her back. But this time was different. The accusations weren't just baseless. They were personal. Sources close to her say she was furious, seeing the comments as a direct attack on her character. Behind closed doors, she reportedly weighed her options, but when legal experts confirmed she had a strong case, she decided enough was enough. This wasn't just about setting the record straight, it was about making an example.
The former First Lady has been noticeably absent on her husband's campaign trail, but she just made a stop on Fox News to promote her new memoir. Apparently, she's answered personal and political questions. Take a look.
As the trial commenced, the atmosphere inside the courtroom was thick with tension. Every seat was occupied. Reporters, legal analysts, and curious onlookers eager to witness the unfolding drama. Cameras weren't allowed inside, but that didn't stop the public from speculating about every detail. Melania, known for her composed and often reserved demeanor, sat quietly next to her high-profile legal team. She remained expressionless as the prosecution laid out its case, presenting what they claimed was undeniable evidence. Witnesses were called to the stand, each one adding layers to a narrative that painted her in a less than flattering light. Some testimonies contradicted one another, creating a web of uncertainty, while others seemed to strike a chord with the jury. Her defense team, however, was prepared. They meticulously countered each argument, exposing inconsistencies and questioning the credibility of key witnesses. Every cross-examination became a battle of wits, as lawyers worked to dismantle the opposition's claims. At one point, an unexpected revelation sent murmurs through the courtroom, shifting the entire tone of the case. Legal experts weighed in outside the courthouse, debating whether Melania would emerge victorious or if the case would irreversibly damage her reputation. Some argued that she was simply a victim of relentless scrutiny, while others believed the accusations had merit. The stakes couldn't be higher. This wasn't just a legal fight, it was a battle for control over the narrative, a war over public perception. And with each passing day, it became clear, no matter the verdict, Melania's life would never be the same again.
American people need to decide what they really want. Maybe some, strong tweets, but everything else great for this country.
The tension inside the courtroom was suffocating. Every person present, reporters, legal experts, spectators, and even those following the case from their televisions, knew they were about to witness history. The air crackled with anticipation as the jury returned, their faces betraying nothing. It had taken them hours of deliberation, but now, the moment of truth had arrived. Melania sat motionless, her hands neatly folded in her lap. She had endured weeks of scrutiny, accusations, and relentless media speculation. Her poise had been unshaken throughout, but this moment, the reading of the verdict, was unlike anything else. A single word from the foreman could alter the course of her life forever. Her legal team, sitting beside her, exchanged brief glances, mentally preparing for every possible outcome. The judge, an authoritative presence at the bench, cleared his throat before addressing the courtroom. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now hear the verdict. A hush fell over the room. Not a single person so much as shifted in their seat. Even the reporters, usually whispering among themselves or scribbling notes, had fallen completely silent. The jury foreman, an older man with silver-streaked hair and sharp eyes, rose from his chair and unfolded a piece of paper. He took a measured breath before speaking. "We, the jury, find the defendant..." A pause. An excruciating, deliberate pause that stretched for what felt like an eternity. Melania's jaw remained set, her expression unreadable, though those closest to her could see the slight tightening of her fingers against the table. Not guilty. For a moment, time seemed to freeze. Then, chaos. The courtroom erupted. Gasps, murmurs, and whispers filled the air as reporters scrambled to send updates. Some spectators sat in stunned silence, processing what they had just heard. Others shook their heads, exchanging disbelieving glances. Melania exhaled slowly. No dramatic reactions, no tears of relief, just a single, measured breath as if she had been expecting this all along. Her lead attorney, however, allowed himself a small nod of satisfaction before shaking her hand under the table. Across the room, the prosecution remained still. Their case, one they had built meticulously, one they had argued with precision, had just crumbled before them. They had known it was risky, that the evidence might not be enough, but they had pushed forward anyway. Now they were left with nothing but questions. The judge tapped his gavel. Order in the court. His voice, though firm, barely contained the energy buzzing through the room. The defendant is free to go. Melania rose to her feet. Cameras flashed the second she stood, capturing her every move. She turned to her legal team, shaking hands with each of them before finally making her way toward the exit. The door swung open, revealing a swarm of journalists, microphones, and flashing lights. The outside world was a battlefield of opinions. Some hailed the verdict as a victory for justice, proof that the accusations had been nothing more than an attempt to tarnish her reputation. Others saw it as a failure of the system, a moment that proved just how much influence and power could shape an outcome. Social media exploded within minutes. Hashtags related to the trial trended worldwide. News outlets rushed to push out headlines, some celebratory, others critical. Interviews were lined up, debates ignited, and legal analysts were called upon to dissect every angle. But Melania, she walked forward, her head held high, her expression as unreadable as ever. This chapter of her story had officially closed, but the world knew that the aftershocks of this verdict were only just beginning.
So what do you love most about your husband?
His humor, his personality, his kindness. He's very special. His positivity, his energy, it's unbelievable. So we have a beautiful relationship.
The verdict may have been read, but the storm was far from over. In fact, for Melania, this was only the beginning of a new battle, one that would be fought not in a courtroom, but in the court of public opinion. As she stepped out of the courthouse, the chaos outside was deafening. Reporters shoved microphones in her face, shouting questions that would never be answered. Camera flashes lit up the night like lightning, each one capturing her unreadable expression. Her team, experienced in navigating media frenzies, shielded her from the swarm, ushering her into the black SUV waiting at the curb. Social media had erupted the second the verdict was announced. On one side, supporters celebrated the ruling, claiming it was proof that the accusations had been baseless from the start. On the other, critics fumed, calling it a miscarriage of justice, a demonstration of power and privilege overriding truth. Hashtags both in support of and against Melania trended worldwide. Some of the loudest voices came from public figures, celebrities, and politicians. each choosing a side, each adding fuel to the fire. Major news outlets scrambled to secure exclusive interviews, dissecting every detail of the case, the jury's decision, and what it all meant moving forward. Some legal analysts argued that the prosecution had simply overreached, relying on speculation rather than concrete evidence. Others insisted that while the case wasn't airtight, the ruling set a dangerous precedent. But beyond the media frenzy, beyond the noise of Twitter debates and talk show discussions, there was another reality: the personal consequences. For Melania, life would never be the same. The trial had exposed her to a level of scrutiny she had never experienced before. Every move she made, every word she spoke would be dissected. Would she fade into the background, reclaiming the privacy she had longed for? Or would she use this moment to reshape her public image, to reclaim control of the narrative that had been stolen from her? And then there was Trump. The trial had put an undeniable strain on their already complex relationship. While he had stood by her in public, insiders whispered about growing tensions behind the scenes. Would this ordeal push them further apart, or would they emerge stronger? Only time would tell. One thing was certain: though the legal battle was over, the fallout had just begun. The question now wasn't about what had happened in the courtroom. It was about what would happen next. Would Melania find a way to turn this into a victory, or would the weight of the controversy follow her forever?
What do the two of you like to do for fun if you're not working?
To have dinner, sometimes quiet dinner or dinner with friends, and listen to the music, all kind of different musics.
I hear he likes to be the DJ.
He likes to be the DJ, and it's very fun night when he does that.
As Melania's legal battle finally comes to a close, we are left to reflect on the true scope of what just transpired. This wasn't just a case of a public figure facing accusations, nor was it a simple courtroom drama. It was a landmark moment that encapsulated much of what we as a society struggle to reconcile: the relationship between power, influence, and justice. The implications of this trial stretch far beyond Melania's personal life. It reflects the intersection of wealth, politics, and public perception, all of which are inextricably linked in today's media landscape. The trial revealed a great deal about the lengths people will go to in order to maintain an image, protect a reputation, and secure power. In an era where every statement, every gesture, every rumor can be twisted and amplified by social media and the 24-hour news cycle, the lines between fact and fiction become increasingly blurred. What we saw in the courtroom wasn't merely a defense of Melania's innocence or guilt. It was a display of how carefully crafted narratives can sway public opinion. In many ways, it highlighted the extent to which wealth and influence can shape the legal system itself.
I was surprised when she mentioned his sense of humor. But I'm going to leave that alone and ask y'all the question: will the candidate's spouses getting involved like she just did?
What?
That's what it said.
Turning the scales of justice into a game for the elite, with consequences that affect everyone. But this case was also a reminder of a deeper truth. The individuals at the heart of such high-profile cases are more than just their public personas. Melania's journey through the legal system, as tumultuous as it was, showed that no one is entirely immune from scrutiny or the weight of their actions, regardless of their status. The trial was not just a legal proceeding, it was an emotional and psychological trial for her, one that tested her resilience, her strength, and her ability to endure. While the courtroom drama played out in front of the world, it underscored a more profound issue: the persistent power of media manipulation and the role it plays in shaping the narrative around powerful figures. We live in an age where headlines can define a person before the facts are even presented, where public opinion can be molded by a single tweet or viral video. This case showed how difficult it is for individuals in the public eye to maintain their privacy, their dignity, and their truth in a world that constantly seeks to tear them down or build them up based on the latest scandal. At the same time, it also showed how fragile our concepts of justice and fairness are. The outcome of Melania's case wasn't just about her, it was about the message it sent to the world. Was justice truly served, or was it a matter of who had the most resources and influence? How much weight does the court of public opinion hold in a legal battle? And can the truth ever truly emerge in such a complex, high-stakes environment? In many ways, this case serves as a microcosm of the larger battle we face as a society. How do we navigate a world where truth, power, and media are all so intricately connected? How do we ensure that justice remains blind despite the overwhelming influence of those who have the means to bend the system to their will? As the fallout continues to unfold, one thing is clear. This case has opened up a broader conversation about the nature of power and the ethics of celebrity culture. It's forced us to ask difficult questions about accountability, transparency, and the role of media in shaping public perception. While the trial may be over, the impact it has had on the collective consciousness is far from finished. What happens now? Will the public continue to follow Melania's every move, or will she fade back into the background? And what does her case mean for future high-profile trials? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain: the trial of Melania Trump has left an indelible mark on the intersection of politics, power, and justice, and it has sparked a conversation that is only just beginning. As we reflect on the verdict and the consequences that will ripple outward from this case, it's essential to keep in mind that the story of Melania's legal battle is not just about one person, one family, or one trial. It's a reflection of the larger systems that govern our world. Systems that are complex, often opaque, and sometimes far from just. Melania's case may be over, but the questions it raised about fairness, influence, and the pursuit of truth will echo long after the headlines have faded.